Alrighty, hello everyone and welcome. I had just noticed I went live a bit early, but it's fine. It's totally fine. So, yesterday we had a blast writing nothing, and actually I should have cleaned up that code. Uh, hope. Actually, we're not even gonna do that. You know what? I think what we'll do. Let me quickly open up our project. So that is sand, and immediately we will also enable preview. Okay, so immediately as well, what I'll do is actually move my YouTube studio over here. Okay, what is it saying? No data. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, I think we're gonna be live until about 8 p.m. and then we'll see. And then we'll see. So what are we gonna do? What should we do? We should clean up. What? Hello? Okay, OBS. I don't see that. So, real quick, pop out chat, move it to workspace, I think 7. Okay, good. So, let's quickly open up Maggot. And you can see here I've added the README, but we have some modifications. Input event, player config, dependencies, core. So, first of all, let's just roll back. Actually, let's not roll back everything. First of all, let's commit something. So I want dependencies, of course. I'm not sure about core. Mm, what is this modification? It's probably this Linux. I don't want that. See, yeah, I would say if we stage this, um, W player config. Yeah, really, we don't need that. So let's unstage it. README, kind of want that. All of this can go in this. So commit, um, added readme and wise enum library. That's just a minor commit, doesn't matter that much. So all that needs to go. So I guess it's a revert, or is it reset? Let me see here. Maggot. Um, revert modified. No, revert working directory to last commit. Oh wait, I can just I bought not I didn't buy, I just found in my house a new mouse, and I'm hoping that this new mouse will be better than what I had before, because before I had just something horrible. It was a Logitech or Logitech. What is this? Logitech M171, I think is the name. Horrible. I don't understand how people use this. The middle click can't even click this thing. It's just unclickable. Like you can't. Like you press it, but the button is broken. The button is always broken. So you have to like really push it down. And because you're doing it with your like index finger, or some people like to do it with their middle finger, that's just painful. The buttons that you can't even click them properly. They're just too tight and they're hear that? That's up close. That's like on the table. It's very loud and the sound is just horrible. It doesn't have the side to side kind of where you tilt the scroll wheel. The scroll wheel is kind of meh. I don't know. It's just so I'm so tired of it, and it's also really small. Like, let me look it up. I just like I am so like the middle button drove me crazy. It was a Logitech M171. It just I don't know. Yeah, this thing. Although I have this version, like it is small. It's like I don't know. It's just really small. It's like a thing you take with you on like yeah. So this is like in a hand. You see how small this is? It's just tiny. So yeah, I abandoned that. It's just no, no, no. Just to show you. And also the thing that was the finishing touch was that you would move the mouse and then it would stop. And no matter what you do, it just stops. It stops responding. And I'm like, what? And it just does that. And like it would be looking like this, right? That's not the way it's supposed to be. Oh, they have a blue version, a red version. This is the one that I have. Although I painted mine, so see these grooves, I painted them white because I thought it would look better, and it actually does look better this way um, than what it is stock. So yeah, I actually really like the white lettering. It looks better than the original. But the mouse, the user experience is just horrible, and it's wireless as well. I don't like wireless mice anymore because my wired mouse so far has been pretty good. It's an HP. I have no idea. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. We're here for reverting a working directory. Control CR. VS mode or VC mode. Wait, which is Control CR, diff reverse direction, and then CA diff apply hunk. What are you talking about? CU CC CA. That does not go to hunk. You want to undo and hit. Oh, okay, that's not. Hmm. No, I don't want to undo last commit. I want to like get rid of it. I just want to like. Okay, you know what? Let's just Google maggot. I feel like it's maggot revert. I think is the thing. I feel like the music is a little bit too low. Maybe bump it up a little. Maybe it's just a song that's kind of low. Also, because of that, I will need to turn down my headphones. Alright, maggot revert. This translate prefix command binds the following suffix commands. Oh, okay. When no cherry picket or revert in progress, then the transient features the following revert and commit, revert no commit, sequence continue. Revert. Sequence continue, maggot, sequence skip, sequence abort. Um, that's not really what I want. Let's go to contents. So, hmm, can't see the thing. Hmm, committing, branching, merging, or basing. Uh-huh. So this is where we've been. Resetting, stashing, transferring remotes, fetching, pulling, pushing. I don't I don't know, like, how do you, is it like git checkout? I feel like it's a git checkout. Git checkout. Let's see. Where's the checkout? There should be a checkout somewhere. Oh, I can't see it. Discard and station. What is a discard? I don't know. Let's try typing X. Discard on stage changes. Yes. Oh, okay. Trash 3 files? Yes. Bye. Um, actually, no. What are you? How do you expand this? Let's stage you. Just X. Trash? Yes. Bye. Okay. And then push origin main. Paste in that thing. Um, actually, I'm gonna have to. Hope that's correct. It's not. Okay. The easiest way to do it would be just to invoke pass menu. And pass menu will tell me. That's kind of a long password and I don't like typing it out. Okay, and then you click a button and remove all. Okay, so that should work. Which? Okay, so R, so everything up to date. Let's maybe, actually I'm not gonna fetch because I already discarded the password. I'm not typing it out again. I should make it so that the GPG would actually manage all my SSH keys, but I'm getting there. Okay, I am getting there. Let's take a look. 24 commits. When was the last commit? 11 minutes ago. Added readme and YZenum library. Okay, so let's just take a look at the commit itself. What changed? Okay, added readme. Added this YZenum. There's 3 files that's supposed to be added. And there you go. Just 3 of those files. They look kind of weird, but okay. Oh, and you can even discuss it. Pretty cool. So let's close that. And probably close this as well. Okay, so with that, we can start coding an AI system. Now, actually, I don't want like an AI system. I want to make it so that I have an interface for the AI system. And also, I think actually, before we do that, maybe we should clean up the code a little bit. Or, yeah, actually, this is going to be kind of like a two-in-one kind of thing. So we're going to start writing an AI API, no matter how tongue-twisting that sounds. And we're going to start doing that so that, and part of that would be to clean up the code as well. Because this main.cpp looks absolutely like a piece of garbage. Like there's just all of this, and like this is not okay. This is not okay. There's a lot of includes in here as well. Some of them are not even required to be here. Like some of these, like I'm pretty sure if we were to just take all the SDL stuff, actually there's not enough. I mean, there's not a lot of SDL, but like you just get rid of this, and then you say, I think it says SDL2. No, it says SDL to SDL.h. You do this, and then here, because it's so many things, you just b box2d, um, box2d, right? And then all this box2d stuff can go. It needs to be a hash include. Okay, this CS2D stuff is okay. But this forward, by the way, is just so hilarious to me. It needs to go. Registry, that's fine. Sand component. Okay, these things actually need to be here. What is wrong with you? Okay. What are you doing? Stop. Alright. So this CS to dlib is fine here. Everything that's like standard stuff, that's totally fine for us. It's saying CST. Well, come on, language server, wake up. Okay, so we need to rename this file. This file needs to be renamed. And the reason why, actually, is there any way to like lsp rename file? That'd be pretty cool. So if you go under include sand, there is this core.hpp which houses a timer. That's all it is. It's just a timer. So let's move that. Let's move that into core slash timer.hpp. Okay, so that's that, and maybe we could also like make it a little bit different. Yeah, we could. We could. So I wish there was a way to like record the. Actually, there is a way. There is a way. Okay, so that is pretty good. Pretty good. Everything seems to be fine. Core.hpp. We could split it into like core.cpp. I'm not doing that. No, there's just no. I'm not doing that. Does core? Oh, core is empty actually. I mean, we could put a timer in there if we want. Also, where is ZIndex living? Oh, ZIndex is just here because it's a template. Timer, screw that. Marching cubes. We could move that into core. Does system have? Yeah, okay. So systems have a thing. So we need to create file cmake lists.txt. Let's move this marching squares index into like here into core. So here, create file, marching. Why is it called cubes? It's marching squares. Dot cpp, and then you do Control XH, meta W, P, and then here you just need to like instead of this include, you include set sand core marching cubes. Actually, not cubes. Let's rename this straight away. Marching squares. Okay. It will tell you that there is no such file. It's actually a lie. Rename squares. Okay. So because this is a CPP file, doesn't need this pragma once, probably doesn't need this either. And that will be that. Pretty cool. The only thing it's saying, oh wait, that's a const expr. I completely forgot. Const expr cannot be defined in a CPP file because a const expr is in line. We actually want it to be in line. So, I mean, there is a way to do it. The way to like make it like there is like you just basically hash include this CPP file, but there is no point because it is gonna be okay. Yeah, just delete this file completely. Just dd. Yes, yes. Delete that. Just forget about it. Okay, that should be here. That's fine. So this we know. Concepts. Okay, we're gonna keep it this way. It's pretty good. Marching squares, timer, z-index. Z-index kinda is something I would want to explore. This is template stuff, so we can't actually do anything about it. Should be in the header. Core. This, I mean, we could put it in a CPP if really wanted. I doubt we will. It may cut down, like this timer isn't really used much, and besides we're probably gonna use some other library for all the stuff that's like timing things, so we don't have to worry about this. And then this main.cpp, that is a mess, but before we go ahead and look at that, let's make sure system, keyboard control, physics renderer, sprite data. Nice song, love it. Okay, keyboard control, physics, renderer, sprite data. These are all headers, and I'm not really sure if I want to go into them. I'm pretty sure they're just header files. Just make sure. Yep. Sorry, physics. Yeah, okay, that's simple. Close that. I mean, some of them don't actually need to be. Wait, what? What is this? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, makes sense. Why are these const experts private? Don't know. I guess that should be that. Next up. Physics. Renderer. Renderer is just such a pain. I need to do something about this. The renderer needs to change a lot. And then sprite data, which is gonna be pretty simple. Okay. Got this entity factory. Seems like something to go into core, but honestly, I would just completely get rid of this. Systems.hpp. Okay, that's just a file for like main.cpp. Source, course, you may click. I mean, nah, I don't know. Don't really need to do anything here. So with that, I feel like. Oh wait, there's also this system folder. Handle events, physics, and render. Okay, okay. So that's pretty much what we have. Pretty good. Now, in order to make a AI in our game, here's what we need to do. So the AI needs to do a few things. We can go into something like our dock here. Just go into Scratch. Just kind of design our AI right here. So let's put this here. AI. No, 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 no. Don't wait. I said AI. Okay. So what does AI have to do? Well, first of all, I think AI needs to be able to walk. So I would say movement is a better way. Movement. Now, movement includes like position, rotation, all of that stuff. Um, so that is this. It also needs for movement, pathfinding, of course. Now, pathfinding, I honestly am not really interested in writing something like A star in my code. Reason for that being, I, I want, like, let's think of how the player, I want it to be faster, basically. I want it to be more dynamic, more adaptive, so that the AI wouldn't feel like, like a cheater. Because, hmm, and besides, it's not really just a cheater aspect of it, because it can get quite cheaty, like finding the fastest path all the time. Like, that's just going to be weird. Um, Humans don't really do that. We don't walk in like very optimized paths. Also, the fastest path is not going to be, something natural to us. Because imagine you're walking in a city. The fastest path may be crossing like a road or like a highway where there's a lot of vehicles. And that's obviously a no-no. You can't cross the highway unless there are no cars at all, which is in most cities impossible. Um, I mean, there are a few highways that are just absolutely giant, but there are no vehicles, so you can cross safely. Not that there are any humans to cross the highway, because there's no people living in those cities. But what I'm referring to is some city in China that's just completely abandoned. Maybe it's actually, wait, it's not China. It is not China, it's something else, but it looks like China to me. Anyway, so I completely forgot. It's just me like trying to remember the things on the fly. So imagine like say, yeah, you got this highway. You can't cross the highway. And like even if theoretically you could, like the AI probably could figure out how to cross a highway. We could do something that the AI can like 100% rate passing through the highway. We could do that. But it's just like no human on Earth would cross a highway. So I don't want the AI to like think, oh, so like I can cross the highway, so I will. It should like, okay, I cannot cross a highway because dang, vehicles moving. And so in our game, we wouldn't have highways, but we would have, like say there is a park that the player built. And in the park, there are like roads you're supposed to walk on, and there's also grass. Now, the fastest path may be on the grass. In fact, sometimes it is the fastest path in real life. But we humans, we don't walk on grass because grass is a decoration. If we walk on it too much, it's just going to decay and it's just going to be mud. Okay, it's just going to be everybody's going to be very, very sad. And the city will then fine everybody because they have to repair the grass now. So we don't walk on grass, at least the what is it called? The educated people, or no, it's not educated. It's called like what is it? polite people, I guess. So we walk like on roads or like paths or something. So pathfinding should be something more basic, something that just understands very basic rules, but doesn't know, it doesn't like optimize itself. It's like, okay, I need to get from here to here. Okay, I have like a general sense of direction. I have to go like that way. And so like there are like certain blocks I can walk on. So it would like, okay, well, probably that way would be like on this path. Now, this does make it a little bit harder for the AI to kind of find its way to the place that it wants to, because it can waste a lot of time. Like, imagine that there is like a wall that the AI should cross. Like, let's say you're in the city, and in a city there are certain roads that seem to go in a certain direction, but then they just stop or they turn, and there is like no way to get out of it. You're never gonna get to the destination even though you started walking in that direction. Like there are certain things that happen this way. And because of that, it would be smarter to just go the other way. So maybe the AI should then kind of have an understanding of like, hey, I am in this place and I cannot walk like this. So it should have some kind of memory, I guess. But the issue is that pathfinding with something like, A star, not A star specifically, because A star is kind of slow, but like something that looks like A star would probably be faster in terms of like, I don't know. I want the AI to be more like a human thing that just kind of explores and walks. And by the way, I haven't mentioned, but we're gonna hopefully by the end of several videos, we're gonna have a little city with like little checkpoints. Like here is food. Here is like something like you need to stand in a specific place and like do something, right? Like turn a certain state on, and then after some time, food comes out of this thing. But you have to like stand there and like imagine like you're working, right? That kind of stuff. So I want to just kind of make a city that has no player in it, or at least the player is just like a thing that's like walking around it. But I want the city to learn to exist and like self-support, like get food and all of that. Um, and so it's gonna be the base work for the AI, and then later we're gonna find, better ways of doing it. So actually, I watched recently a video on AI that is just walking around, and it has like certain things it can do. It's got like genes, and these genes represent what it can do and all that. So I want to do something like this, and I'm very excited to have like one NPC teaching another NPC by like sharing their knowledge and like somehow combining it. And the player being able to teach the NPC, hey, this is not what you do, instead you do this, and that kind of being um, their relationship would kind of grow out of it, and the player be more invested into it. Because right now, based on what I see in the games, the NPCs are there just like a background. They're not actual like useful things in most games, unless it's like Minecraft. But in Minecraft, even if you have these villagers like growing potato for you, it it almost feels like slavery, and they don't have these AI. They don't have any meaning. They're just there like a thing that walks and does hmm, hmm. That's all it does, and it grows potatoes or wheat or something, and then it eats the wheat. It doesn't sell it to you. It doesn't like it just kind of exists as this background that you watch, and it just happens, and it's like, well, what's the use out of it? Well, I mean, yeah, you can kind of like use it so that you can get potatoes in the chest, but that's just, I don't know, it's kind of plain. It is good, in terms of like it is pretty cool, and it is for that game for Minecraft. It is fitting. Like it is just good. A use case has been fulfilled, but this is not what we want. So, pathfinding, movement, um, learning, teaching, and this should be, now that I think about it, we might want to go over on GitHub. Got this thing called projects in here. Got a single project in here. Also, did I see something? I thought I saw something weird. This might have been the Dark Reader. Actually, it has nothing to do with it. Anyway, projects. Close. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. I tried doing GitHub projects, but it's just no. It's just not good enough. So, new project. AI. Description. No description. Template. I guess basic Kanban. Yep. Okay, I don't want this in progress though. Okay, you. Can you please just delete? This is annoying. I don't want to read this. Okay, delete no. Okay, and I also don't want it in progress because that's just, yeah, delete column. It's just not very useful. Okay, yeah, should probably close you. All right. So GitHub projects, yeah, close that. This thing allows us to add ideas in here. So this is gonna be basically our to-do list from over here. So let's add in all of our items, movement, um, pathfinding, learning, teaching. Okay, what else? Um, oh, they're kind of backwards. I added them in a different order. I want them to be kind of, whatever I add last, it should be last. This works like a stack almost. I don't like it. So, movement, pathfinding, learning, teaching. Mm, what else? I don't know, some kind of like society almost? I don't know. Hmm. Society, like social awareness and personal awareness. And what I mean by that, by the way, um, is like understanding of like e.g. Um, health points, like hunger. We are not going to add hunger in the game, but like, this is like examples. Hunger, and then for the social awareness would be something like, I don't know, happiness. Or not happiness, I guess social awareness would be more like if somebody is sick, then another person would take their duty. So like, I guess like, um, I could just write that. The reason why I'm saying agent is because it's a more generic. Can perform actions, and the agent takes his responsibilities. Okay. And hmm, interesting. How does that work? Edit. Note. Is that the thing that makes it? No. Edit. No. How does it work? Hmm. Oh, I guess the number. Edit. No. What if I had more of these dashes? Nah, it's the same. Okay. I guess we could then edit note. I want them to be kind of large. No, that kind of looks weird. Kind of does. Edit note. Dun, 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 dun. It is small though. I wish there was a way to like hide all of this gunk on the top, because you almost cannot see them. It is full screen is what you need. Yeah, now it is. Now we're talking. Okay, pretty good. So, social awareness and personal awareness. We're not going to start with this. I think we're gonna start with just movement, and we're gonna make an AI. Oh, and also like skills slash memory, and that kind of goes hand in hand with this learning and teaching. So I guess that'll be like that. So we're gonna start with movement, and this is gonna be like the very last thing. So movement and like probably skills and memory, learning, actually learning, teaching later, pathfinding. Okay, cancel. So movement. How would you do movement in this case? Well, it is going to be pretty simple. All you have to do is actually I should probably keep it on this tab.
This is the future.
So movement. So when it comes to movement, um, I am not really gonna. Now that I think about it, GitHub Projects is a better way of managing all this stuff. So let's just
This
delete this. All right. So movement. We want to have an API for the AI to say, hey, I want to move. And movement is going to be more like, it's not going to be teleportation. It's going to be more like, I want to move forward. I want to move forward, and like, I want to move. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, let's just do it so that they can move like up, down, left, and right. So this is one of the things that I would not want to separate from the way the player moves. Because if you think about how the player moves, the player, they move with the WASD keys, which are, so the way that the player moves is, through WASD keys. They could also move with like a joystick, which would make it a floating point value. So, and I guess we
This
should
is the
really think
future.
about the joystick.
Human error.
Let me think about it.
Evolution. This is the
Huh,
future.
okay. So the joystick, but they also have a D-pad. I guess D-pad isn't really that useful. Okay, so joystick, which is a floating point value. The AI would use the booleans, and we currently use booleans as well. And the way that this handle control events, it takes a movement intent, which is already a structure we have. And when I was making this, I actually was thinking about AI. And it just changes the body velocity to be this physics body get linear velocity, and then oh, and we already inside of the intent we can program the specific velocity that we want to move at. So actually, now that I think about this, because movement intent already contains a floating point for velocity, if we want to add joystick, we don't have to actually do anything. We just make velocity a fraction, and oh, it is kind of weird that the control system knows about the speed of the player, which is a physics property, but I guess it's fine. I mean, we could reprogram it so that it's a little better. But anyway, we actually know what the so then if the AI wants to move, it can move in any direction because of the angle that we specify, and we can move at any speed it wants. Kinda cheaty, but not really that. Not that we care. Um, and so that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So in that case, what we would want to do is we would want to, well, I mean, the movement API is already kind of done. The only thing that the entity has to do is it has to, in the like AI processing, when it applies the AI functionality, this function that like decides where to move, it just has to look up its movement intent component. If it doesn't exist, it will in place a new one, and it will tell the intent component, hey, I want to move this way and that much, and that's gonna be it. Um, so yeah, pretty good. Um, so that's very nice. It would be cool if we could snap to grid. That would be very nice. I'm not sure how to handle that though, but we'll get there. So movement intent kind of is done. Um, yeah, it has already been done for us. So let's write code that can change this movement intent. Let's make it so that we have another. Okay, so first of all, guys, we need to get rid of all this because this for auto bleh by. Actually, before I remove it, let's see here. So this obviously is register.create, make physics entity. I mean, all of it is down there. Just looking for this beta vector position. Register get, set transform, polygon shape, set as box. We have that over there. Then create fixture, set friction, set friction. Okay, 5, which is, I think this is one of the reasons why the boxes are so heavy. It's because they have this friction, but the friction actually kind of, it's so weird. I don't like the way friction works. Registry data in place, render data. Actually, one of the reasons why I don't want pathfinding to be um, the way that the traditional games do it is because even though most objects will be aligned to the grid, like most of the all the walls and all the buildings, everything that's kind of like a static object that does not move and it's just like there for, like various things. Those objects, they will be aligned to the grid, and we can kind of like analyze their position, and we can say, okay, well, this thing is here. But when it comes to dynamic objects, they're a bit more complicated. They can be rotated. They're so weird in terms of like, you can't really know what it is. And so, okay, render data, that doesn't really care. Okay, so there's nothing there that's important. There's nothing that makes the game run better or anything. Also, before we do this, let me quickly remove this rug box in the center. And also, because of that, this is all the things related to the box. Polygon shape, box shape, 0.5, we don't want this anymore. Create friction, all of that go away. And that's the player right there. Okay, so let's compile this real quick and let's see what we have. And we're gonna write code. So let's think about it. We want the code that executes in a loop for every AI processable, I would say. Every AI processable. Actually, I don't know, like an AI component. An AI tag is what we'll have. Sandcore.hpp. Oh, yes, sure. That thing, of course, does not exist because it is core/timer. There you go, and then compile again. Also, where did the custom... Hang on. Where's my -J4? When I press PC, I should have like -J4. It's not there. Huh. Interesting. Okay. What are you saying? Core.hpp? Yeah, because you're slow. Dang. Honestly, I hate the language server. It's a cool idea, but it's okay if it's fast and it really updates real time. When it's like this, where it like lags and it's got like a certain interval, like this error is not an error because you can see everything compiled just now. Like it's not an error. It's not even a warning. It's just nothing. But for some reason, okay, well my run command works, but the compile command doesn't. I guess that's because I didn't actually set the compile command. Anyway, let's just set this, and there you go. So we got the empty field, and we're able to move around. So let's make another entity. Let's place it, I don't know, about here. And what we'll do is we'll just make it wander around. And we wouldn't really make it do anything specific. It's just gonna randomly go in a random direction. It wouldn't do anything. You would just have no real brain. We wouldn't even make like there wouldn't even be any like objective for it. It would be just literally rand percent 10 or something. Actually, it would be rand percent pi over sorry 2 times pi um and something like that. So and then velocity equals I don't know 1 or something. And then after 10 frames swap that. So for that to work, we are gonna need to think of what is this system? Because this is a system. This AI control stuff is a system. Create file. I don't know, I would call it AI.hpp for now. I guess that's very generic, but that will do. And I wish that all the header files would have this pragma once already in there. That would be pretty cool. Um, I think I'm gonna add some custom snippets and custom functionality because I really wish like there's a lot of very specific things that we do. Like all of our systems go into this particular folder. They all have very similar structure. It's either a function or it's a class that has some kind of public object that is created when you instantiate the class, and it's just there for convenience so that you don't have to like store it inside of main.cpp. It's stored in the object, which is stored in main.cpp, but that doesn't matter. So we need a function void void process AI, and this will take int colon registry by reference, and actually not a const. It's not a const because you can't have a const registry, and you can, but only if you don't modify it. And also you will need a what? You will need, I guess, nothing. And that will be it. And for now, I'm gonna put the code inside of. Yeah, I know that. I'm gonna define it inside a header file, but then later I'll put it in a CBP file. Just for now, for convenience, because I'm gonna be changing the declaration of it a lot, or I might end up changing it a lot. I want to have that flexibility of just changing it. So once we do that, we will need to say that we need a view, sorry, a registry, no, dot, but not this registry. This kind of registry. So registry dot view, and you will need a view. Oh my goodness, why are you so dumb? Language server, wake up. Registry dot. You don't have a view? What? Hello? You're so dumb, language server. I honestly consider turning off this. It's just so dumb. The only thing, like even the autocomplete is just so bizarre. Who made you? Just dumb. Hello. View. I want registry dot. Ah, finally. View. Okay, which component? AI. Yeah. No, just AI. I mean, this is the name. And then let's format this better than the LSP. LSP is just not having a good time today. Dot each. I am so like this. I don't know. Something happened to me. I'm just not very happy today, I guess. There isn't enough fulfillment in my life. This will take in const AI reference AI, and it will do, I don't know, something. We'll see what it does, but we need this AI thing, so let's do a hash include send component AI.hpp. I know it doesn't exist, that's why I'm asking you. Create file AI.hpp. Okay, so what is this thing. What is this AI? Well, for now it doesn't really do anything. It's just an empty struct. It doesn't do anything. Okay, it's just dumb. And actually, because it's just dumb, it doesn't have to go as a parameter. Because you can't pass it as a parameter, it doesn't hold any data. But what does the code do? The code is asking itself, okay, so whatever has an AI component, right now simply wanders. Hmm. Hmm. Yep. Yep. Let's make it wander. So the way to wander it is going to be registry dot get or in place movement intent component onto this entity, entity and um, cons, no, not auto, and entity, I don't know, let's call it agent. I feel like that would be, and then args are gonna be movement intent, and movement intent actually has not been declared, so let's fix that right now. Include sand component. Hello? Player controllable, it's called. Weird. It's not a player controllable. Floating velocity. It's a movement intent, it's called. Why is this box D stuff in here? It doesn't need to be here anymore. Let's separate it out. Create file. Okay. There will be a few errors, we'll fix them later. So what is it saying? Movement intent is not included here. Well, it's not in player controllable anymore. It's got its own header, movement intent.hpp. We could put all of our components into the same file, but that would be just a mess. It's a little bit easier to deal with them when you can kind of select one right here and not have to think about all the others. So registry.getInPlace, movement intent. Okay. Now, something that I had noticed is probably going to happen immediately as we start this app is that the player probably will be able to control this thing, this other agent that we create, because it is, as you can see, getting a view of all the movement intent things, and it's going to set their velocity or something on them. Now we actually don't want this. Instead, much rather would we return this movement intent as an object out of this. Actually, we don't want to return it as an object because that's a mess. Ew. What do we do? Handle events, handle control, intents. So this is going to be fine. This just takes a movement intent and body and just applies one to the other. But this is terrible. This doesn't work. This would never work. Handle events. I mean, hmm, what would so like theoretically, what I would want to do is instead of applying it here, I would just return it. And to me, seems like doing it this way would be better. Um, so let's make here a return type, movement intent, and of course it will tell you, hey, this is a CPP file, but if you modify it like this, you need to modify the header file as well. So you go into System, Keyboard Control, here, handle events will return movement intent. Okay, and it's saying, what do you want? You are just dumb. I don't know, just something happened and I'm in the terriblest mood ever. Oh, the reason why it's complaining is because A, it doesn't need this file. Actually, it kind of does. Okay, movement intent, let's just add it in. Dun, 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 dun. Also, one of these. Actually, no, they're all fine. Okay, let's close all of that stuff. Oh, here. Saying can't return. Oh, yeah. Um, what is it? Um, mm-hmm. Here, just return movement intent. That's dot. Just return default, basically. Okay. Otherwise, here, instead of all of this, a bunch of this, you return movement intent that has dot angle equal to angle. I don't know what the angle is. Probably some local variable. Probably that. And dot velocity equals player speed. Okay. Kinda doesn't need to know about it, anything really, but that's fine. And then this needs to go. Yep, okay. Pretty good. Pretty good. So with that, we have this. Let's do it kind of in steps. I guess we should commit this as a separate change. Actually, you know what? I don't know. Should it be a separate commit? Because this is a really small change. Let's not. Yeah, let's just make. Later, we'll just explain that, hey, everything changed because blah. What are you complaining? Are you still complaining about this timer? Oh, what a pity. What should we do about it? So here, when we do handle intent, handle events, we kind of want a no discard on this thing. And I don't know if it's required in the. Oh wait, why is this context per handle keyboard events? Get out of here! You're not doing anything. Your context per in a CPP file, and you're not even defined. Oh wait, is it used down there? Is it like no? It's just here. Bye. Don't want you anymore. Okay. Um. Okay, good. Also, what is this button? Does it do anything? Just exists there. I don't know. I want to know what this is. What this? See that like red thingy? Weird. I don't know. Weird something. So I don't know what it is. But handle events. Okay. Movement intent. Handle control events. Physics velocity. Okay. Good. This has nothing in it. So let's just close this file. Handle events. Feel like this is it here. But oh, as I said, we want the thing to have a no discard on it. So that's a system, I think. So include system keyboard control, and this should be a no discard. Otherwise, what is the point of calling it a no discard? And also, I don't know if you need to put this inside of here. I don't know, I feel like you should. It's not complaining though. I'm guessing that's fine. Alright, let me quickly check on my YouTube studio. Ah, 0 people, okay. Yeah, it's fine. It is a, what's it called? A day, like Monday. Nobody's really watching at this time. I mean, actually maybe around 8 p.m. somebody's gonna join. I think I said we were streaming until 8, so I guess we're almost finished here. But anyway, so continuing on. If we look into this function, it returns, doesn't seem to complain. Let's see if that will work. Ignoring return value. Okay, so it gave us a warning, but it does not. Oh, it's just a warning. Okay, so we can still compile it this way, but it's not gonna have any. We're not even gonna be able to move now because of that. So what we need to do here is we need to, instead of actually, what we can do is we can just say registry dot in place or replace movement intent on the player. Now, when we do, uh-oh, stream lag, that's not good. How bad is it though? Oh, it is, it's just done. Ew. Okay, it's lagging when I'm compiling. Kinda terrible, to be honest. Okay, now we still have our movement. Pretty good. And what we need to do then, I guess what I could do is I could just commit this without the AI.hpp. Maggot. So that would be not sure what this core does. What changed here? Oh, I guess that. Oh wait, this is stage changes core, CMake list stage. Okay. Modified system handle events.cpp. Yep. Okay. Commit this much. So changed how keyboard controls apply to the player. What's good about it is that now we can essentially have our movement intent be more like a boolean. Actually, kind of don't want it to be a boolean now that I think about it. I mean, we could, but we don't. Yeah, I don't know. Should it be a boolean? Because I'm kind of wondering, like, hey, how do you? Hmm. Okay, we could. It is kind of a boolean right now, but not really. All right. Let's also push it straight away. Actually, we can't push it right now because we don't want to input the password all the time. I'll do that after the stream. So that's done. And now we can work on our AI.hpp, which would mean that what we want is we get or replace our movement intent, and the movement intent is going to be kind of like random. So let's first of all do it like this. Dot, I think angle is first. Dot angle equals rand percent pi. Hang on. Wait, what? Last time it would just tell me, hey, pi. No? Okay, stood numbers pi. There you go. Times 2. And dot velocity equals 3, for example. Let it be like that. Doesn't matter what it is. And then here it's saying registry. It's saying that basically we did not pass a registry here by reference. So let's do that right now. Registry by reference. And saying get or in place. I mean, what does it return? Get or in. Why does it return a movement intent? That's weird. Movement intent. Huh. That is. Oh, hang on. This should be like that. But it's still saying like, hey, ignoring return value. What? Why are you returning it by reference like that? Returns a reference to the given component of an entity in case the entity doesn't own the component the parameters provided are used. Oh, it's like it returns a previous one. I don't care. I don't care. I guess I could just replace, I think. Do we have? Yeah, we have a replace. Is there like I don't know, let's just do it this way. Replace movement intent. Is there a replace or no? Okay. So that should work. Oh, I guess you should do it. Oh, hang on. Let's do it this way. Rand percent 4 times stood numerics pi over over 2. That will give me like a way of defining like directions basically. Although it could be a 0 and oh yeah, actually a 0 is a thing. Okay. Yeah, and then it's saying insert an explicit cast to solving this issue. What is your problem? Um, non-constant expression cannot be narrowed from type double to float. Which do you wanna? Just everything? Okay. I guess this is a double, is what it's saying. Okay, good. Run per percent 4 times. Alright, that should be good enough. And in this case, I actually don't need the braces anymore now that I think about it. Alright, good. So, it is still saying function divided in the header. Oh, that doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Okay, so with that, we're able to magically move all of our entities. So here we need to basically detect how many frames have passed. And we have a frame counter. And we even used it somewhere. And I think I removed that if statement. So I think before we render, actually before we even do any kind of physics updates over here, handle control events, and then here we need to add like an if frame counter percent FPS, and I know it is, yeah, percent FPS equals 0. So let's do, any suggestion here? No? Let's just cast it to an int. If that is true, then you're gonna want to update the, so process AI with the registry. Okay, and for some reason it auto-completes, but it doesn't like includes it. Sand system. Actually, oh, the reason why it doesn't include is because actually the way to do it would be to just go to the systems.hpp and just add it in here. Okay, run that. And this should be able to process AI if it exists, of course. Every second it should like change direction. Actually, I want to make it so it's not every second, every like 5 seconds or so. But right now, the player is unaffected. We can make it so that I thought I saw some movement, but no. Yeah, so we can move. We can make it so that the player goes mad, but we're not gonna do it. I mean, we could, but we're not. I think I'm gonna make it so that if you go AFK, the player will just wander as if they are an AI. That would be an interesting thing to do, and we can do it very easily. Just in place an AI tag and add like a random walk behavior to it, and that's it. But what I am here for is render data. This is not what I want. I want where I create all of my entities. I want to create another entity. So, okay, there it is. Player. Actually, this is all the player code. Let's paste in this. AI agent equals register to create. Make physics entity, except that it's not this. It's an AI agent. And register that in place movement intent onto... Actually, we don't want movement intent here. We want registry dot in place AI on... Yes, AI onto our AI agent with no arguments, because this function does not take arguments in this particular case with this template. And then we're just gonna add the same like things here. So I would much prefer okay, let's do it like this. So let's first figure out render data, because that's going to be quite simple. Player sprite character. Yeah, well, let's make it a character, just the same character. This is going to be the offset, shape, data, and radius, and render data's normal index +1. Actually, we don't need to specify it. We don't need to. It can be a normal z index because I don't really want the player to show up on top of anything. And once we've done that, we'll do here player true sprite data sprite ID character. Yes, the only thing it's complaining here is that the shape is already defined and we don't need to set anything. It's just going to be the same shape. Let me do here space colon, actually space CR is the shortcut. So character collider. That would be it. And here we're like, what do we do? We like get body. Oh, get body is from make physics entities. Okay. I guess we could do the same thing here. Create fixture, character collider, set friction 5. Yep. There you go. So that should, theoretically, let's just change it so it's not as often changing its direction. And it should wander in random directions, and it should kind of stay around the same place, but it wouldn't. One more thing. For the character, we don't do that, but for the player, sorry, okay, actually we don't do it for the character either. AI agent, create fixture, character collider, set friction, ready to replace, render data. Let's cache this body here. We're gonna say b2 body. It's gonna be actually not constant. It's gonna be a body pointer AI physics body will be equal to register to get Yeah, what do you initialize with an RVLF type void? What do you mean? Oh yeah, yeah. We need to cache it, and then here AI physics body set friction blah blah blah, and then AI physics body dot no sorry not dot get no not get set position. I guess you can do that. Why you can't? Wait, but there is set. Oh, dang. What are you? How do you like? Only get position. How do you set it though? Let's see. Set transform. But set transform isn't really what I want. Okay, set transform. B2. I know there is like a B2 position, and I feel like there's just a type def to B2 vector 2. Is it? What is this type? Angle 0. Let's see here. So I want the character to be about negative 10. No, negative 10 is too much. Negative 4, 0. And we'll see where they will end up. No variable. Okay. Let's just set it to like B2 vec 2. Okay, compile. And I didn't change it again. I should have changed it here. Percent FPS times 4. I don't know. Let's recompile that. Let's actually do this. This is gonna be faster. Okay, should compile sooner or later. Okay, there we go. Oh. Send main, user local include, template parameter, try in place. Ew, what happened to you? Assertion in. What did I do? What did I do wrong? Oh, I guess. What are you? Local sparse set point, basic sparse. Try in place. Version 80 trace to version element, energy trace to version tombstone failed. Oh, okay. So I guess it's the code that I wrote over here where I do a replace on the thing that does not exist. So in place or replace is the way to go. I guess it's just a warning that it's giving us that we're discarding it, but we don't really need the value. So I'm using the wrong compilation command all the time. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, we got the game, and it crashed again. Ah, dang. Try and place. Oh, it's all over again. What is the issue here? Where do you even do it? Oh. Assertion. Entity. I don't know where this happens. think about it. Or could it happen? I don't want to like use a debugger or anything. I don't want to look in the code, in like end code. I could ask on the Ant Discord server, but they're not gonna answer right now, so I think it's in here. I feel like it is here. Like it just should be. But there is nothing that could be wrong. Huh. Let's try disabling this function by not replacing the AI component on this thing. Hello? How did this song end up in this playlist? Okay, I know how. It's because it's got this cool part in the middle. Oh, crashed again. It's not here. Let me see. This is the player. The player code is fine. Agent make physics entity. Beta by registry.get. In place. Aha! Found it. What else could it be? Seems like everything else is fine. Probably isn't this function either. I mean, he just stands there. He's not moving. So it's kind of creepy that he's the same character. Let me quickly... what's it called? I think it's sprite data. Let's make here wise enum. I think we use. No, oh, we don't use wise enum. Weird. Okay. Let's then do something here. Simple. We're gonna do space cr character male, and we'll also add character female. Add nothing like that. And then here, essentially, if it is something like that, it's gonna be at grid 00 sprite size. Okay. And this one, which should be female. Let's make this AI agent female. Okay. Oh, she looks completely different in terms of style. They told. Oh, okay. So she is moving. She's moving kind of weird. doesn't keep moving. Oh, okay. So every four, okay, because she's moving so weirdly, let's make it so that every frame she moves. So I'll just comment this if statement for now. She should start moving more. No? Hmm. Hmm. Let me get rid of all this STD log. I kind of hate it already. Okay. Huh. So that is weird because she is moving clearly, but she only moves on the screen if I move. She doesn't move if I don't. Ah, what is this? Is this like this is like Squid Game or something? That is. Oh, she moves really weirdly, which is why I didn't want her in movement intent to change this often. But here's my question. Why doesn't it move more often than that? Here we handle controls. Here we process AI on the registry. We just assign a random one. Then we do physics. What does physics do? Hmm, I know why. I know why she does that. I know. Okay, that's actually pretty funny. So let's uncomment this if. And let's just delete. Yeah, kind of thought about doing it this way. Let me edit my compile command. Should be a little faster. So you can see she's kind of moving a little bit. She's moving very slowly. Huh. And also it seems like she's picking up some of my movement as well. Why is she so... Hmm. Okay, so it seems like movement intent is being reset after it's done. Mm-hmm. So my movement intent code here. Hmm. What is it doing? Takes a movement intent. It's not const though. Huh. Takes that, takes that. It's actually not modifying this movement intent. Why is it not const then? Can I make it const? Okay. So it's a const reference. Now, my question is, why does it not do it properly? Because I want this thing. Once it's done with its movement intent things, Set linear velocity. That's weird. What is missing with it? This is so weird. In place or replace on the player. Handle events. See what this does. It actually, for some reason, knows something about the registry. Oh, I see it.
This is the future.
Should not know anything about the registry. You shall not know anything about the registry.
Evolution.
The registry does not exist for you, because you have nothing to do with it. You're just spoiling my stuff.
Evolution.
This is one of the examples of how systems kind of conflict with each other. Saying undefined reference, yeah, of course, because this handle events no longer exists like this. You don't pass the registry in. Instead, what you do is you protect the registry from unwanted visitors. Okay, that was the issue. The issue was that the reset happened in the movement intent, which just pulled all the movement intent and just made changes to it. Yep, exactly. Exactly what we want. Instead, what I did now is instead of the control thing thinking about what moves where, okay, let's follow her. We have sprinting, by the way, so we're a little faster than she is. But she doesn't seem to change her direction. Oh, there she goes. So she can only move in 4 directions, by the way. So let's extend that to more.
This is the future.
This is a little boring. Also, she's moving for too long and too fast. Let's make it so that here in the process AI, she can move kind of in a diagonal as well. That'll be %8, and then this will be divided by 4.
This is the future.
And then here, velocity should be equal to 1, because she's just walking. She's supposed to be walking on like a really slow pace. So she can move now in diagonals as well. And you can see, yeah, it's a little bit more sort of what we would expect. Now, she is still moving. She doesn't change her direction quite often enough. Let's make it so that she kind of changes direction every second, for example. We can change it later. We can also maybe make it so that we can change this value from the console, which would be pretty cool. Doesn't seem to, yeah, you can see she's kind of wondering. So she doesn't have any kind of goal or anything. She just walks. So this is our very first AI that doesn't do anything, but apparently it's just walking. I want to see her bump into me. She kind of walks in circles. So she has a tendency to select some very specific thing, like very specific direction. She only goes in diagonals. It's kind of weird. Oh, she didn't bump me and she didn't bump into me. Can you please bump into me? Oh, flickering. That's not very good. Okay, there's a way to deal with flickering. For characters, it's actually pretty simple. You just set like set a specific range. Like say you expect in one area you expect to only have a certain amount of characters, like say 5, and so you just say that each character gets a random z index that is going to be just a random number from the base index to base index plus 5, and then you can also like rotate them. Like say if they group Yeah, you can see a little bit of a flickering there as she passes through, but I think that's kind of fine. See if we can, yeah, okay, flickering actually does, oh, flickering is legit. Hmm, it's not very good. Not sure why it's happening though. Okay. Yeah, so it's just a walking game. So let's make more of these. But to make more of these, we need like a factory basically. It's so fun. And an AI for so a factory for like AI agents, just so funny. Oh, I can't. Also, by the way, here's something funny. We don't even need the player to be like a sprite on the screen. Because we get our movement intent in the format of like a float and another float, we can just calculate what the offset would be, and then we can just move the camera directly instead of moving the player. But yeah, the flickering is real. Doesn't see, yeah, that's actually kind of weird. Also, I can't really bump into her much. She's just moving. Hmm. Oh, I have an idea. A kind of terrible idea, actually. Um, so the idea is to play tag with this guy, or this girl, actually. Although it could be, if we draw a beard, it could be like a guy, like, like a Viking. Yeah, but no, it's a girl. So, yeah, I don't like the flickering. It's actually like real. Shouldn't happen this way. Hmm. Why is it flickering? I thought I fixed it. I added a test that tests if the flickering happens, and it just fails. The test was supposed to be, the way the test was designed was to make it so that the flickering function is deterministic and it always outputs the same order of things, but it seems like it's just doing something weird. The easiest way to fix it, as I said, is just to set the um, where is the renderer data? The renderer data for the player should just have, let's see, renderer data, z normal index plus one. That should fix it. I don't think it will run it. Yeah, so you can see the flickering is gone, but we're always on the top of the character, which is not what we want. We want it to be more like XY position based. So yeah, I'm not sure why it is like that. But there you go. So that's pretty cool. Got a character that moves. Obviously, they don't have any kind of animation and they look kind of weird. Because when you move like with a character, it doesn't look that weird. But with this is moving, this is creepy. it just always looks at you. It just looks at you all the time. Okay, that is fun. Let me check the stream real quick. Yeah, yeah, seems to be fine. All right. We have 0 people watching, as always. The only time somebody watched was yesterday. So, As a result, we get this character moving. Now we want this character to have more of an objective. More of an objective. So how would we do that? So currently, process the entirety of this processing happens inside of this while loop, inside of this process AI. So this process AI, it will be run every frame, um, but I think the way it will work is gonna be kind of weird. I don't know. So I don't want like actually no wait. I think the AI shouldn't run every single frame because there's gonna be a lot of like stuff that doesn't do anything. Like say if somebody is walking, they don't change. There's nothing that's changing about them. There is no new intentions. It just kind of exists. So I guess the way we'll do it is if the AI just continues doing the same thing it was doing, we remove the we remove some kind of enable component or something. Or maybe we'll have like a boolean that decides like, hey, if this boolean is true, then update, else just skip. Um, so because of that, because of that, okay, yeah, let's just do it this way. So let's quickly look here. The way that it's doing it right now is inside of this function, it's going to do something generic for every AI component. Now, these are generic AI components. There might be more specific AI components. Maybe, mm, maybe, let's say we have an AI component that is, like, I don't know, some kind of specific AI component that is specific to something particular. And we don't want to process these like we want to process them differently is what I mean. So we would probably just have another registry.view on those specific components. But for now, everything, all the AI stuff, all the AI properties is going to be inside of the AI component. So inside of the AI component, we're going to have like a state machine that determines what the AI can do. So when we want to add a new feature to the AI system, we just add it as the thing in here. Because recently I opened Terraria wiki. AI is what I need. Yeah, there you go. I opened up this one and I looked at it and it says here, okay, no AI, slime AI, demon eye, fighters. These all of the different AI types. And they kind of make sense the way that they're laid out. These are like templates basically. Like this is what the bird does, this is what a mimic does, this is what a unicorn does. But if you look at what they're actually defined with, you can see they are very basic things, like say, walks semi-randomly, jumps over holes. As of 1.13 update, the time NPCs talk to each other and to the player, right? So you can think of it, okay, so like the way you would define this one, if you were to add some properties to AI component, AI struct, you would say like walking, and you would have like say different types of walking, like random walk, um, or like wander around point, or like all sorts of other things. But this makes AI as at the same time very expensive. So maybe instead of defining everything inside of a single struct, you would define it in different AI like intentions. So, like say, a walking AI would have its own like everything related to walking would be like in its own like not a movement intent, like a movement AI component, and that would have like the type of movement and all of that. That'd be pretty interesting. I never played Terraria though, so I'm not familiar with how they work. I've never seen them in action. Probably should play Terraria 'cause that's a lot of AI things. Mm. Bang. No more ads. You don't get to promote on my stream. Actually, that's not the reason why I blocked it. Just don't like ads on the side here. It's just distracting. Movement done. Okay, now this is skills and memory. Um, this is one of the issues with this approach of having this struct. Actually, no. Actually, no. It's not. It's not a downside because the if we split it by say movement AI, um, attack AI, I don't think we'll have attack AI. I think we're gonna have like a hunt AI because we're not really going to have, at least for now, we're not gonna make it so that the AIs will fight. That's not gonna be a thing for now. We don't really need it right now. So let's think of a different example. Let's say like a movement AI, a she can't think of anything else. What can AI do? It's usually like moving, attacking. It's actually kind of the only thing the AI is doing. Funnily enough, that's actually kind of the only thing the AI is doing. Dang, is it just movement? No, it actually can't be. Let's think of something like a MMO or an RPG. Like what does AI do there? He kind of stands there and just talks to you. Okay, movement is actually kind of, I think movement is just central to the things that the AI does. Let's think of what the AI in our game would do. Like we have this thing that we'll call like a human, or actually not a human. I would say a living thing is what we'll call it. So a living thing will have health, hunger, um, health, hunger, skills. It's not, skills are more related to the AI, but that actually is kind of something that, yeah, actually, skills has nothing to do with it. Or does it? I don't know. Maybe it does actually. Kind of. So let's think of what the human, what the real human is. It's like the human has like hunger. They don't have health, but like, actually they kind of do, but it's not like a health bar. It's not defined like it. It's more like you can think of it as a health bar in some cases. Like say, what will be a good analogy for a health point system? Like say, probably if somebody hits you very hard, then that part of the body would like you would have pain there, and because of that, you wouldn't be able to like. But that's not really health points. You're not gonna die if somebody just beats you repeatedly. I mean, you will die at some point if somebody beats you repeatedly, but it's not gonna happen like a health bar. So yeah, I guess it's not really a health bar. Hmm. The AI in our game probably wouldn't have a health bar either. It would be more like a durability, and like if you take damage more than your durability, which isn't gonna be called durability, but it's gonna be like some kind of like something. And like if you exceed that on damage, you just die. So like I would imagine if you fall off a cliff, depending on how high the cliff was, like if the cliff was like really high, like Mountain Everest, and you just imagine somebody drilling a hole on the top of Mountain Everest and you just jump in there, then that would just kill you instantly once you land. Um, there's no chance. Also, the same thing, like if you were to just fall from the helicopter, that would be to just kill you, right? It actually depends, but it will kill you. Then let's say if you're just jumping off of the window of a first floor building, you depending on how you land, you might get some damage to your bones, like you might break a bone or two, but it's not going to be like you're just gonna die, you're just gonna take some damage. Like and the way we're gonna express damage is going to be like say which of your functions is impaired. Is it is it like your movement that's impaired? Okay, well then you're gonna need like crutches to move, I guess, and you also need to. I guess that's it actually. And you'll be moving like slower, and maybe you'll have like pains periodically, so you wouldn't be able to walk as long of a distance. But like generally speaking, there isn't really a health bar, and so I think actually we're not gonna have a health bar. So now that I think about it, because we were not having a health bar, but instead we apply like music. Okay, is my stream still running? Good. So because we're not really gonna have a health bar, but more like effects that impair your movement, how do we convey that to the AI? It's gonna be interesting, actually. Let's not think about it just yet. Too soon to think about that. Let's just not think about it. Um, so then, AI, it knows that, say, it is hungry. What's a hunger? Actually, I want to kind of define hunger, not just a hunger bar. Not that. Because here's the funny thing. If you define it like a hunger bar, then you start attaching all sorts of weird properties to that bar. Like the fact that if you're too hungry, you can't run. Well, sort of true. But if a bear is chasing you, I don't think it will matter that much. You'll still be moving faster than walking speed, right? So it doesn't, yeah, hunger is not going to be a hunger bar. It'll be more like, actually, it will be a hunger bar, I think. It's just gonna affect you different. Actually, kind of will affect you the same way as in Minecraft, probably. Okay, so that I'm just kind of brainstorming all sorts of ideas right now, just so I can get an idea of like, oh, I want this and that. What else? What else might we need? Like, what other properties should the AI be aware of? Because really, the AI, the purpose of it is just to survive. Actually, it doesn't have a purpose, to be honest. Hmm. Actually, it does. I'm thinking. Just, you see, here's the thing. I watched a video recently about AI, and I came, not I actually, I was drawn, I would say, to this conclusion that the AI, when you program it, you don't have to actually tell it what to do. You just spawn it in with random behavior. You just spawn a lot of randomly behaving AIs, and they do something, and then you kill them based on certain properties. And whichever don't get killed is what evolves, so to say. But doesn't like it doesn't evolve because it's like real or something. It's because it was not killed. So really the purpose of a good AI is just to not die. But in the case of a game, we don't have the computational resources to run 40,000 iterations of AI learning before you load the world. You can't do that. So the obvious answer would be to pre-program it to do something, to have certain behavior. And I think that, and this is actually kind of how we humans behave. We have this program, nobody really wrote it, but we still run it. So I guess we can think of it as somebody wrote it for us. And we know that like if we're hungry, we should go and find food. And we know what food looks like because we're smart. So we just need to write the program. The program needs to, Jesus fuck. For now, I think the base of the AI system is done. I realized just now that the AI, as I said, is just there to survive. Doesn't have any goals by itself. Just doesn't. So the AI, the game should not be driven by the AI. The AI should be driven by the game. So if the game gets a new mechanic and the AI is affected by it, then we should add behavior to the AI that makes the AI smarter about that behavior, not just default stuff or like die or something, but something better. Actually, I think I said die too many things in this stream. YouTube, please don't demonetize us. We're making a game here. mm, so, I guess that's it. I mean, we did a little bit. I don't know what to do with the skills and slash memory, because the way I thought about it is more like. Actually, I don't want skills and memory in the game. Now that I think about it, I actually don't want it at all. Maybe a little bit of it, but not really. Pathfinding, as I said, doesn't really care. I don't really want that. Learning, teaching, yeah, these two are kind of getting downgraded right here. Social awareness and personal awareness. Personal awareness is going to be a thing. Social awareness, not sure how to do that. Okay, we'll see about that. We'll see about that. Okay, space colon maggot. Let's save our progress, and I think that'll be it. Untracked files, okay, stage them. Here, keyboard control, sprite data, systems, main.cpp, handle events. Okay, commit. So this one was more like added. Um, random walking AI. And walking and what is it? Actually, that's it. Edit random walking AI. Movement API for AI. So, all right, that should be it. That probably is the thing that we're going to be doing. This stream was kind of productive. I thought about a few things that's kind of inherent to what I do. Um, I did some work. My game doesn't crash. Um, I added some organization to these sprites here. Handle events seems like it improved quite a lot. We can remove the character. We can now have like the camera. I guess the next thing to do would be to add more. Actually, there is nothing. We should just start making the game itself. And the player will be more like a observer for now, and then later we'll add the player as a thing that actually does something. Um, I guess I should really start bringing up the notes, because the notes that I did before I started developing this game were more like, oh, I don't like the way that the inventory system works in most games. I want to make the inventory better. And those were like completely unrelated to what the game is about. It just doesn't matter. Like, dude, if you need an inventory, you can design it later. Just think of like what the game is about. And I think this is what I struggle with right now. So I don't have anything. I was just thinking about all these systems, but they don't do anything if they don't serve any purpose. I don't even know what the game is, like what the goal of the game is. It's like a sandbox, but it doesn't. What use is an inventory system if you can't do anything with this inventory? I mean, okay, actually, to be fair, I did have an idea of a few things that the player can build, but then like it's just like, okay, the player will build it, and then what? So what? So I think there's a core problem in there. There's a core problem in there. There is. I need to start thinking about it. She kind of want to think about it right now. Because when else? And awkward silence. I guess I should play some indie games. I don't know, I should play more Minecraft now. Yeah, I think that'll actually help because when I was thinking about this game, it was more like I need to fix Minecraft. Oh, by the way, Minecraft, hang on. What is Minecraft? Actually, Minecraft is purposefully nothing. It's just a bunch of possibilities. In fact, too many possibilities is how I see it. And then the player just uses their imagination to do whatever they desire. They could want anything. And this is, I think, one of the issues that some players have is when they don't have, like, when they can't come up with a idea, they kind of hate the game because it feels boring to them. Kind of understand some of the players who don't like Minecraft because it's just like, not that they don't like, they don't enjoy playing it because it's just so, like, the game doesn't pose any challenges in front of you. But then, there are so many things in this game. Like, what kind of players does Minecraft have? Like, it has a technical community, it has a survival community, has like a PvP community. So it's almost like it's virtualizing the real world in a way, in a good sense that it brings experience from the real world into the game, and it just tells you, hey, you can do whatever, and then people are like, well, that's cool, and they do it. Is that the way it works? I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to observe this. Never thought about it, to be honest. Just played it. Just, I don't know, just liked it. Just enjoyed it. So how can we do that inside of sand? How can we do that? By the way, I need to rename sand. Now that I think about it, that's going to be a lot of typing to rename it, but we'll get there. Um, how would I do it? Let me actually hang on. So then, funny thing is, if I click stop streaming button, all my ideas vanish. Oh, and by the way, I don't think if you're still watching, like there isn't really going to be anything here that is like. I mean, for the VODs people, for the people who are live, it's cool. But for the people who are watching the VOD, I don't think we'll come up with anything special. And if I do, you'll see that in the next video in the beginning of it, not in the end. The ends are just kind of like me thinking about like all sorts of things, and I guess, oh jeez, don't drop stuff. It makes noise if you drop it, and then the mic picks it up, and then it sounds weird in the stream. Um, okay, actually, let me sit down and think about it a little bit, because it is also 9 p.m., so I need to stop soon. But how long has this been? 2.5 hours. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. Think I know. Think I know. Think I want this to be more of a survival game than a sandbox. And then on top of survival, I guess the way I want it to be is I want the player to start with. And this is going to be a little bit different from some of the games. I want the player to start with some resources that they have. And then as they so they have a certain amount of resources they can use, but they're limited. And they have the ability to produce more, but they are not really that advanced to produce a lot, so they need to quickly get something up and running. And then there should be like some kind of, not really a time limitation, but it should be more like, you get hungry every day, this kind of thing. It makes them go and do stuff. Yeah. I guess the next thing to do would be to add like what do you call? The next thing to do would be to add some fun. Where did the player go? Oh, there is. Not the player, but the agent. It's just what it's called, I guess, in like programming. It's called like an agent. It's not really like So we would want to add, I guess, the next thing is something for like survival. So that would be um, I don't want to add any animals because animals are hard to draw. But I guess they're not really something I would want in the game. I don't really like. Yeah, I don't want like animals, but I certainly would want something to do with food. I'm thinking about reproduction. I think that's not something. Yeah, I don't really want that yet. Um, so then, what do I want? I feel like I should grab all the code and just make a platformer. Okay, see you next time, I guess. I'm gonna think about it while I'm getting to sleep. Maybe I'll find something cool. Alrighty, how has it been today? Nobody watched? Actually, somebody watched at some point in time, just once, which is good. Um, so, yeah, let me change the stream title to be adding AI movement frame, AI movement behave behavior. Save. Alrighty, see you guys later. Bye.